Hey guys, it's Art here. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good morning so far. It's 9:28. We have 2 minutes to the open. Just watching the three sisters here on the 30-minute chart: Nasdaq, S&P, and Dow. And this is the high of yesterday and the low of yesterday for each of them. You see that there? That's yesterday's session. Asia, Europe, New York. There's the low and there's the high. See that there? You can see where we are relative to yesterday's positioning. Here the daily, and you can see it even more clearly here in a way. You can see that we're trading down here in the middle of yesterday's range, and here on the S&P and here on the Dow. Very similar picture. We have marginally broke on all three, just barely there on the Dow, and have now pulled back. So we'll see what this morning has to offer in the next, well, it's open in 1 minute, 1 minute and 5 seconds. And so we'll see where we go from there. This is the early VWAP, volume weighted average price. That's the line in the middle with 2.5 standard deviations. And then we'll keep our eye on this and see what happens on a relative basis here as well. But all three below the volume weighted average price before the open. I don't place a whole lot of stock in that, quite frankly, until we get some of the North American volume in here to really make a difference in terms of the number of transactions that are included in this calculation, and then the average price of those contract transactions. I'll be cutting out dead air, sideways grinding action, non-teaching moments, things like that to keep this video nice and tight. We'll see if we can get ourselves a trade here today. Been taking an average of about 1 to 1.5 trades a day, call it that, lately with this low VIX environment. And now that we're in holiday times, things could be even thinner and may sit this one out. Who knows? I'm coming in expecting not to trade, but will only take trades or take setups that are optimal and really are basically giving me no option because they look so darn good. Here's the opening candle, selling off on the Nasdaq a little bit, the S&P, and rallying a little bit on the Dow. A little bit of minor divergence here to start the day. Let's take a look at some zones here. This is the Dow, guys, looking to potentially break down here into this clean traffic zone. It looks like we're going to do that now. Here's the S&P. Very quickly, want to see both of these. Similar picture. And here is the Nasdaq. I'm going to revise this zone up now that we have an open. I'm going to bracket the top of the prior bar, right? The prior candle here before that happened. Watching here, this is the Dow. There's the S&P again. All right, guys, I'm going to put you on pause, and I'll bring you back as things develop and mature here, and we'll see how we do. Be right back. All right, guys, looking to go long here on the Dow right there. Right now at the market, breaking back up above. And there it is, guys. Stop below the low of the day. I'll fix this marker in a moment. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, this is a trend continuation trade of sorts. It's also a zone reversal. I'll explain what I mean when I come back. I'm just going to put my lines in, mark my my targets, and we'll come back and talk about this in more detail. Be right back. And there it is, guys. Finally, I had to move to a 2-minute chart to include the candles. Target 1 has been hit, so the 1-hour all-or-nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. Of course, the 2-hour move stop to break even at 1 hour has now moved their stop to break even just like this because we've hit 1 hour. So they will either now get 2-hour or they'll get break even and nothing in between. Whereas the 1.5 hour and 2-hour all-or-nothing traders are going to be sitting here waiting to see what happens, see if we can get up there. We'll tell you, we'll show you that, of course, we have resistance up here before we get to the 2-hour target. And you can see where my cursor is, and it lies around the 1.5 hour point right here. See that? When I hover my cursor here, you can also look down here and see it right about there. And so, some models and some traders, what they would do, of course, even if they're 2-hour all-or-nothing traders, on this one, they may take 1.5 hour all-or-nothing instead, just to factor in the structure. And this is something I'll leave with you as something to think about. But in the meantime, I'll put you on pause, and we'll come back and see how this plays out. And target 2, 1.5 hour has also been tapped, and so the 1.5 hour all or nothing traders left the game with full profitability. I will remind you guys, this is a trend continuation trade with a zone reversal feel, right? The zone reversal feel, of course, is the sell-off all the way through the UK session, which of course continues for another hour or so, just under an hour, and about 45 minutes actually. And then found some support here at prior support from yesterday. This, of course, this support, when prices drove down, was created in the New York session. And so when we got into the New York session, the first candle here, and we rejected, that became meaningful to me. It's the same players that created this. And then when we had the break above, that was my signal to hop in. This is a 2-minute chart. I'm going to drop you down to the 1 because that's what I was looking at the time of entry. I also showed my team and my group the 1 minute open range, which is this piece right here. Let me show that to you actually if I can. Yeah, here it is. Let me just reset this. Sorry about that, guys. Here's the 1 minute open range. See that there? It's one candle, 1 minute candle. We had the pullback, break above. This is where I entered. And then I had to sit through some pain here as my stop is down here below the prior, just the pre-market low. And then eventually we made that move, as you can see right there. So I'll bring you back and you can see it very clearly. There's that 1 minute open range, stop below, pre-market low. We had the break above. Thought it was going to go then, of course. I would have liked it to have. Of course, it did not. We sat here for many, many minutes. And then eventually things began to pay off and move. In the meantime, however, the S&P and NASDAQ rocketed through the roof. Look at this, right out of the gates, guys. There's the NASDAQ, and there's the S&P, and you can see this grind that I sat through here in the Dow. I just picked the wrong one, but I picked that one because it had the best, to me, the best opening sequence, right? This burst up, and then this nice, fairly orderly pullback into the open range, and then breaking back out again, whereas these just went straight up, essentially parabolic. I was thinking that there needs to be a pause at some point. Of course, that came significantly later here after VWAP, and so that was quite a move. Anyway, it's eventually paying off, but just took a lot longer. And so here we sit, guys. So that's the zone reversal, and the trend continuation is this idea that this is a bullish daily, so bigger picture trend continuation, right? Let me show you many, many days, of course. Impulse, corrective, impulse, pausing, and then continuing higher. It's also a seasonally very strong time of the year into the right until the end of the year, and then we're seeing that playing out, in fact. And so here we have it, guys. Yesterday we have this impulse up, corrective down into the open of New York, and then finally, eventually, we're having more of an impulse move higher. I don't know if we're going to hit the 2R. We'll see. We got the 4 models here, and 3 out of the 4 models have already been able to be fully profitable here. We'll see if the 2R, all or nothing trader, can also get full profits here today. I'll put you back on the 2-minute chart, squeeze this up, put you back on pause. We'll see how this works out. Back in a bit. And target 3 has been hit finally. 2 hours in, guys. 2 hours less 2 minutes. And all 4 models have been profitable. The 1R all or nothing, 1.5, 2R all or nothing, and the 2R moved stopped to break even at 1R. We hit 1R, moved to break even, never came back again. And again, this, guys, is a zone reversal trade. It's also a trend continuation. I'm going to call it zone reversal. So I think most people who are newer to my material will see this and see the clear reversal pattern that is now played out. So that's what I'll categorize it as. But I'll, obviously in the video here, I'm discussing the trend continuation feel to it as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for clicking the like button and for saying hi in the comments. Have an amazing afternoon. Hopefully we'll see you again today, or we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.